In the Layers panel, I've taken the liberties of going ahead and putting it on a separate layer, giving it that title, and using the pen tool just as I take a look at this to make this as simple as I can, and also zoom in as close as you can to see it. And I can see that the top section of this is missing, so it's actually just clicking and connecting these again from the drawing that you do to creating an original piece. I'm going to just keep it as an outline and take the fill out so that I can see beyond this. I have the option of trying to overlap. This is probably the easiest segment, and I'm just looking for the intersection of these two segments here. And I'm actually going to go beyond this so that I can just overlap these rather than try to match it. It's easier to do it with the shape builder and demonstrate that. I'm going to take these two items and just drag them over to the side here. And I can manipulate these a little bit with the width tool to drop this part over. I can also just try to look through this with the pen tool and try to see if I can see, because the values are pretty close together, but not too bad that I can't see what's going on there. And again, making these three pieces overlap. And the last one, just deselecting all those, placing it with the trunk, and popping it right on there. So these are all just outlines. I'm going to just select them all, and just go to the color, make the palette a little bit larger, fill it with a segment of green. Now the only thing that I did is reversed it, so I could have started with the trunks to overlap them, but I knew that I was going to try to take this and use the shape builder. So I'm going to drop a copy right down below it, select it, take the shape builder tool, and just click, and when I drag it makes that color. It still has the same foreground color, but that gives me that piece. So all these sections, when you separate them, are puzzled pieces right on top of each other. Okay? And then at that point I can select them, take the stroke, turn the stroke so it has none, just kind of a fill, and go through this, again taking the different pieces, make sure that the fill is the highlighted area, and just add to this, and choose the color that's going to be characteristic of what I want it to be. It makes it a little bit easier to build that. So once I have it, I'm just going to group it together, option and set it over to the side, zoom out just a little bit, and just make this one slightly larger. Shift key to keep it in proportion. If I want to flip it over, I can edit and transform it, and it will let me do that part or object. And you can see the particular selection in there that you can flip it over. Just go to transform, arrange, you can see at the top. Reflect it. It'll give you that window that pops open, give you vertical or horizontal. It already flipped it over. And I can then go through this and rearrange the colors, take the direct selection tool to click on it, and pick up different shades here. And that'll give it a little bit more variety to it, because it is the same selection, same piece. Okay? And since it was grouped together, makes it easily placed in there. I'm just going to zoom out and option to copy it and drag it right across the foreground, make it a little bit larger, place that character in there, zoom into this, and take that piece, that part, and again it gives you some different color options to choose from. And then the last part, when I see this, is to try to do the background, and it's going to make this as 8.5 by 11, which is the page size. But first I'm going to select all of these trees and group them together. and then go ahead and take the rectangle tool. Let's go to the top to the bottom here. Give it a color. And by doing so, filling it, I'm just going to swap it so that the stroke is there so I can see the curve of the snowbank that they're sitting on, just to make that a separate piece. And again, by doing this, I can simply change that. Give that part a section. Let's see if that's going to work. Yep. Okay. So, like I said, I put this on a separate layer, so it makes it a lot easier to control it in the foreground, background. I'm going to go back to the Layers panel. I can just slip the background right there, bring the foreground up there. That's the character. And I can hide this one if I want to reposition this character, because I have a lot of extra lines that I placed on here just for demonstration part. If I can clean this up a bit. So on the artboard, I'm just going to move these elements that I still want to keep. And just place them on there. So the shadow, I might just place them in there. Take the direct selection tool so I can, since it's still grouped together, and just slide the shadow off the page there temporarily. So now I have this whole element of the art, and that gives me the window now. I've gone over the edge just to show the bleed of this, and when you go to View, under Trim View, if you're trying to show this to somebody, even yourself, you can click on that, and it'll clip it to the actual artboard page size so you can see what's happening, and double check on that. So I have these trees. These are overlapping the snow, so I'm going to kind of leave that into the background. And this one I'm going to bring to the foreground so it makes it a little bit easier. Since they're grouped together, just double click to isolate it. And see if I can't bring that forward there. So these guys, I just ungrouped it. Bring them forward. Okay? And there you have that first part. So see if you can do the background elements that are in this layout, and then save that to your